Welcome back, everyone. It is Sunday sit-down time. We've got the St. Louis Post-Dispatch's Dave Matter in the house tonight for Sunday sit-down. Dave, how you feeling? We're back from Nashville. Has the recovery begun yet?
It has. It wasn't. I did a little vacation with the family in Nashville before Media Days, so Media Days was like my chance to recover from vacation.
Okay,
so I think I'm fully recovered.
It was a good break from the vacation, right? Well, you know, Media Days, what was the biggest takeaway? I feel like we heard STP about 80 times at Media Days this year.
Yeah, Missouri's got something to prove if you haven't noticed. Otherwise, I thought Eli Drinkwitz and his team really kind of flew under the radar. I mean, when you're on the first day, people are just kind of getting settled in. You've got the big speech from Greg Sankey, the commissioner. It always kicks off things, and then probably more attention on LSU and Texas A&M, and by design, I think Eli really tried to slip under the radar and didn't say anything that would really go viral or make headlines, and mission accomplished, because they really didn't say a whole lot.
What did you think of that 12-minute, I think it clocked in, the 12-minute opening speech? I think he accomplished his mission, right?
Yeah, it was quite a filibuster. I mean, when he's breaking down the long snapping competition, you know that he's trying to get through without having to answer a whole lot of questions, and he was fine with the questions. He was like pretty informative and candid. He just wasn't going to go out there and say anything that people were really going to remember.
Well, I feel like the biggest question people had going into Media Days, as it is every year that we've had with Eli Drinkwitz, is the quarterback position. It kind of came off to me that Brady's the guy to beat in this competition.
Yeah, I mean, they're calling him the incumbent. I mean, it's his job right now. Somebody's got to take the first snaps on day one. I mean, that's just the way it works. But I do think they want to have an open and honest competition. I mean, Eli even made the point that last year he might have pulled the trigger a little too soon, is how he said it. That's not to say he wouldn't have gone with Brady, but maybe he wants that competition to last a little bit longer and just see what the others can do. So I think Sam Horn, I would not write him off. I wouldn't write Jake Garcia off. They went and got him for a reason. They want to see who the best guy is. And it doesn't matter who it is. They just need to have somebody who can play functional quarterback at that position and score more touchdowns than they did a year ago.
Do you feel like this is something that might even run into the season a little bit? How much can Jake and Sam really prove in fall camp? Do you think that's something that even runs into the season?
I even asked Eli that question. Like, does the schedule set up to where you can maybe do that? Michigan did that last year. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss kind of did that last year. And if you have some winnable games to start off with, which Missouri certainly does, then you can afford to play maybe two guys. It's kind of what he did in 2020 when they had Sean Robinson and Connor Bazelak. It wasn't a rotation, but he played both of them early and got a better feel for who was better suited at that time. So I think there's some value in doing that if that's what you decide to do.
Well, the media poll also came out this week. Mizzou picked to finish 6th in the East. What are your thoughts on kind of that selection?
Well, I picked Missouri 5th, so I don't have a big issue with 6th. Right. I think you could make a case for Missouri anywhere from 3rd to 6th. If you're just basing it off what happened last year and then what everybody brings back. There's certainly some question marks about this team, but everybody outside of really Georgia, you're going to have some questions about. And I think Tennessee, what they did last year, kind of cemented themselves as number 2. But you got South Carolina, then you've got Kentucky, you've got Florida. I think they're all kind of similar. But when you don't have a lot of certainty at quarterback and you've got a new offensive coordinator, which Missouri does, I do think there's some questions, some things that they have to prove, not to use their slogan, but they do have to prove some things maybe before they get the benefit of the doubt.
Well, talking about something to prove, I think the all-SEC selections were a big nod to that. No first-team selections for Mizzou across the board. What did you think of? My big surprise, I guess, would be D-Rob getting picked on 3rd team. How much higher do you feel like some of those guys should have been?
Yeah, I think I had Darius Robinson first team on mine, along with Mekhi Wingo, former Missouri Tiger, who did make it first team with LSU. Sometimes I think it just comes down to name recognition. Right. When folks are filling out those ballots, they may not be as familiar with the Missouri defensive player as they are with somebody from Georgia or Alabama who came in as like a 5-star recruit. And, Georgia and Alabama and LSU pretty much dominated those SEC teams. And that's not a surprise. Those are the best teams on paper. And there are some lazy voters out there, too. They just kind of go with the big-name, brand-name teams. But Missouri getting 5, that was more than a lot of teams got. So I think getting 5 players on the All-SEC teams kind of recognizes that there is some experience, there is some returning talent on this team. They're just not quite in that same tier as Georgia and Alabama.
Well, one of the big focal points at Media Days was this defense that Missouri managed to put together under Blake Baker. Do you feel like it's, with how many vets they have returning especially, is this a year that they could kind of repeat the magic, I guess, they found last year?
And they probably have to, because we just don't know about this offense. So I think the expectation is, go out and be better. And sometimes that's hard to do. I mean, just because you had a really good junior year or a really good 2022 doesn't necessarily mean you're automatically going to be better in 23. So I think those guys got to challenge themselves. They weren't perfect in every game. We remember the Tennessee game that was pretty rough. The second half of the K-State game wasn't pretty. So there is some room for improvement, but you've got so many guys that they've been on college campuses for a long time. They've played a lot of SEC football. The expectations should be high for that group, and I think they embrace that as well.
Well, the expectation obviously needs to raise as well for the offense. What do you think Kirby Moore's biggest goal needs to be? They said just getting touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's obviously priority number one.
He's
right?
kept it pretty simple. They want to score more touchdowns and fewer turnovers, which I think most teams want to do. So we haven't really heard anything really specific or seen a lot of really specifics from Kirby Moore and his offense yet. I think that's probably by design. I don't think it's going to differ too much from what Eli was doing. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see what somebody can do who's just running the offense. Eli was running the offense. He was coaching quarterbacks. He was managing the roster. He was messing with NIL. He was the transfer portal. He had so many things on his plate that even he admits that it probably got to be too much. And now you can hand that over to somebody else. And maybe we'll see if it shows up on game days, what the difference is going to be. They've got to be more explosive. They've got to shore up the passing game. They've got to be more productive on the ground. It all starts, too, with the offensive line. It wasn't very good last year. They bring a bunch of pieces back, new O-line coach. It's going to be interesting to watch.
Well, I think the focal point of that offense is that wide receiver room. It's pretty stacked this year, bringing on guys like Theo Weiss, obviously Luther Burden, Mekhi Miller, both got more experience. What do you kind of make of that room?
Well, it's rare for you to lose your all-SEC player like Missouri did with Dominic Lovett going to Georgia and still be considered the deepest unit on the team, and that's what Eli Drinkwitz called it at media days. And some of that's the guys they brought in. I think they're going to look to the freshmen to contribute in some ways. Definitely the transfers, Theo Weiss, like you mentioned, from Oklahoma. I think there's a natural expectation for Luther Burden to play a lot better, be a lot more consistent, touch the ball more probably this season. So if those guys are only going to be as good as the quarterback is, and he's probably going to only be as good as the protection up front is. So if it all comes together, I think this team has more upside than maybe a lot of people on the outside are giving them credit for.
How big of a year is this going to be, year 4 for Eli Drinkwitz? Fans' expectation, I know, is turning the corner there. So how big of a year do you feel like this is for him?
I think that's what people want to see. They want to see growth. This program's kind of just been spinning its tires for a few years now. I mean, 4 straight 500 regular seasons, going back to Barry Odom's last year. They've never been terrible, but they've never really been good. And that's the thing. You've got to make that next step if you're going to be taken seriously in this league, especially considering what's going to happen next year when Oklahoma and Texas are coming aboard. So I think 8 wins definitely is a sign of much needed progress. If you're still in that 5, 6, 7 range, are you really getting a lot better? So it's a pivotal year, no doubt.
Well, at least we're going to have a little bit of a break before it starts. You're going to take a little bit of time off here before fall camp. I know we only got a little bit.
I think I've already done that. So it's time for football now.
It's time for football. We're glad it's here. I appreciate you making some time on a Sunday night. Awesome. Well, for the rest of you guys, we'll be right back after the break.